So for this one, we're actually going to be finding everything. We're going to find horizontal, oblique, x and y intercepts, as well as vertical asymptotes and holes. Um, so let's go ahead, since we've just practiced horizontal and oblique asymptote, let's practice that first. So if I go ahead and divide those, I get y equals 3x, and then we've got to figure out the rest. So I'm going to do my long division. 6x squared plus 5x minus 1. And we divide, so remember long division, you find how many times or what I need to multiply 2x by to get 6x squared, or if you just divide 6x squared by 2x, you get 3x. 3x times 2x is 6x squared. 3x times 3 is a 9x. And then we subtract. And I like to switch signs. You don't have to do that. But I end up with a negative 4x minus 1. And then we would just figure out how many times 2x goes into negative 4x. So I divide those and I get minus 2. So I know this is 3x minus 2 for our oblique asymptote. So let's go ahead and graph that. So the way we graph that is just in the form y equals mx plus b. So I'm going to go down to negative 2, and then my slope, it's on the y-axis, and then my slope is up 3 over 1. Or you could go down 3 left 1, however you want to do that. And you just go ahead and draw your dotted line, which that was not very straight, so let me go ahead and just grab a little ruler here. I'll make that a little better. There we go. Sweet. Clean that up a bit. Okay, so we've got our line. So let's go ahead and get our y-intercept, because that's something else we've found. So y-intercept, remember my quick trick is to do the constants. So the y-intercept would be 0, negative 1/3. So I'm just going to plot negative 1/3 right here. And there's my y-intercept. Then let's go ahead and find our vertical asymptotes and holes. So the way you do those is you factor, if you recall. So 6x squared plus 5x minus 1, that's going to be one of our slow factoring methods. So it's negative 6. Factors of negative 6 that add up to 5 are positive 6 and negative 1. So this will factor to 6x squared plus 5x minus 1. Oops. I meant to write 6x squared plus 6x minus 1x minus 1. There we go. And then we split it on up. So 6x is x plus 1. Take out a negative 1, I get x plus 1. So all of this will, let's move all this down. If I can get it down. There we go. So let's move that down. So according to this, we know y is equal to 6x minus 1, x plus 1 over 2x plus 3. So from here, vertical asymptote comes from right here. There's no hole since there's no common factor. So our vertical asymptote, we find the 0 of that. So that's x equals negative 3 over 2, or negative 1.5. So I go right here and I have negative 1.5. And then x-intercepts would be 1/6 and negative 1. So 1/6 is right about here and negative 1's right there. And there would be all of our coordinates. let's do another one of those. So for the following problem, once again, we are going to find all the information. This should have said y equals. Now I'm going to do it in the order they have here. So let's go ahead and factor first. I didn't do that last time, but that's okay. So I take out a 3. X squared minus 1 is perfect square, so that's x minus 1, x plus 1. So this is the same thing as 3 over x plus 1 if you simplify. So there is actually a whole this time at positive 1. And let me move this over. So the whole we have at positive 1, and then if we do a table, remember we plug that 1 into this simplified. So we have 3 over 1 plus 1, or 3 over 2. So 3 over 2 is the same thing as 1.5. So I'm going to go over 1, up 1.5, and I'll put an open circle. Then we're going to go to vertical asymptote. And that's right here. So the vertical asymptote is x equals negative 1, because it's the 0 of the denominator of whatever's left over. So there's our dotted line there. I'm going to skip to, well, let's just do a horizontal oblique. I always go back to the original equation for that one. So our horizontal or oblique would be y equals 0, since the top is smaller. So I'm going to go ahead and say y equals 0. And then let's do our x-intercepts. So the x-intercepts, there are actually none of those because there's no x on top. So I'm going to circle all the stuff we need. And then last but not least, our y-intercept is going to be this right here. So our y-intercept is negative 3 over negative 1, or positive 3. So I'm going to go right here at positive 3. So if I list that out just so it's all here, HAOA is y equals 0, so horizontal oblique. Our whole is at 1 3/2. Our vertical asymptote is at x equals negative 1. Our x-intercept, there are none. Y-intercept is at 0 3. So that would be all the information. Let's do one more of these. We have to find everything. Okay. Once again, it does not matter what order you do this all in. I'm going to put all this on the side though, like I did last time. So I'll put this at the very end. There we go. Okay, so if we're finding whole, we got a factor. So greatest common factor is 2x, and we've got x plus 2. The denominator, this is a fast factoring problem, so factors of 3 that add up to negative 4 are negative 1 and negative 3. So there are no wholes. In fact, I'm going to move this down. Then let's do vertical asymptote. And let's make this blue. So vertical asymptotes, remember, are always on the bottom. So vertical asymptotes would be 1 and 3. So there's 2 of them this time. So I'll put a vertical line at 1 and a vertical line at 3. Horizontal or oblique, the quick trick for that one is to divide your first terms. So horizontal or oblique asymptote, we're going to do 2x squared over x squared, which is y equals 2. So it's going to be a horizontal asymptote at positive 2, so like that. Then we go to x-intercept, so that's the zeros of the numerator. And so you want to go to the factored form. And there are 2 of them. There's one at 0 and then one at -2. So we've got 0 and -2. So if you write them as coordinates, it would be -2, 0, and 0, 0. And then y-intercept, last but not least, y-intercepts, that's where you take the constants and you divide them. So the y-intercept would be 0/3 or just 0, 0. So we've plotted all of them, we found everything. That would be your answer.